Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, good to be with you and committee members. President Biden and Vice President Harris, Secretary Mayorkas, all, and the vast majority of Democrats in Congress keep telling us there is no border crisis. But numbers don't lie. And I know we get tired of hearing the numbers, but they do not lie. Since President Biden took office, there have been over 5 million illegal border crossers encountered by U.S. Customs and Border Protection along the southwest border. 5 million. Over 1.5 million illegal alien gotaways who successfully evaded capture in the 28 months that Joe Biden's been president, and nearly 2 million other illegal aliens released into the United States. Over 370,000 unaccompanied alien children encountered on our southwest border and placed with Health and Human Services, and at least, and this is unbelievable, and frankly, in response to the ranking member's comments, at least 85,000 of those kids have been lost by the Biden administration. We don't know where they're at. We don't know what bad things may be happening to kids. Nearly 200 alien terrorists encountered by the Border Patrol along the southwest border. And as we sit here today, the surges surrounding the end of Title 42 have already started. We've all seen it. Border Patrol Chief Ortiz reported that his agents encountered over 26,000 aliens illegally crossing the border in 72 hours this past weekend, just over this past weekend, a 72-hour time frame. Last week, there were 55,000 illegal alien encounters, nearly 8,000 a day, and there is no end in sight. In fact, I would argue after Thursday, it will only get worse. According to the Border Patrol intelligence sources, around 700,000 migrants are waiting in Mexican shelters to come to the United States when Title 42 expires in 2 days. They will overrun our Border Patrol agents, they will overwhelm our resources, and they will overload our cities. By some estimates, 400,000 migrants will pass through Panama's Darien Gap, making their way effectively inviting them in. This week, House Republicans will pass H.R. 2, the Secure Border Act, and make good on our promise to pass legislation to secure the border and protect our sovereignty. The Judiciary Committee's provisions of H.R. 2 stop the incentives to come to the United States. Title I of Division B reforms the asylum system to stop asylum fraud and abuse and to ensure that valid asylum claims are heard expeditiously. Specifically, the bill includes bars to criminals applying for asylum, requires that the alien claim fear at a port of entry, increases the credible fear standard, reins in immigration and federal courts' abuse of asylum grounds like particular social group. Title II ends the Biden administration catch and release policies, clarifies that the DHS secretary must remove or detain illegal aliens who arrive at the border or place them into a Remain in Mexico type program. This is the heart of the legislation. I just want to be clear, Mr. Chairman. People can come to ports of entry, claim asylum. God bless them for doing it. If it's legit, we're going to let them in. We want that adjudication to happen as quick as possible. But we're not just going to release them into the country. They will be detained or they will have to wait in Mexico while we evaluate their claim. That is the most important thing, I think, in the legislation. There are no other options. The aliens cannot be paroled or otherwise released in the United States, as I just said, unless an immigration court grants the alien asylum or some other immigration benefit. It also allows the DHS secretary to suspend entry of aliens at the border to gain operational control. Title IV closes the Flores settlement agreement loophole that has for many years encouraged family units to cross the border illegally. It ensures that all aliens will be detained for the pendency of their immigration court proceedings and kept together as a family. The number of real and fake family units crossing the border has skyrocketed over the last decade because aliens know that if they have a child with them, they will be released once they get to the United States. Title V helps end the mass exploitation and migration of unaccompanied alien children. It requires that current law regarding unaccompanied alien children from Mexico and Canada be applied to children from other countries. This means that UACs, kids from non-contiguous countries, will be screened for trafficking, this is important, or for a fear of return, and if none is found, they will be sent home, reunited with their family in their home country. We've all heard of the horror stories of what these UACs go through during their trip to the United States with smugglers. We all know how they can be exploited once here. The Biden administration, as I said earlier, cannot locate at least 85,000 of the 370,000 unaccompanied alien children who have entered the United States since Joe Biden took office. In 2014, the Obama administration asked Congress to pass a law to give the administration the ability to remove UACs, what we're doing in this bill. The Obama administration asked for that. In response, the House passed the language that is currently in this bill. Unfortunately, the Senate did not take up that bill, and the UAC surges have continued. I think this element is critical too, dealing with these kids. And our ranking member, Mr. Chairman, talks about when a kid winds up on your doorstep, first thing you're going to do is figure out where those kids' parents are, get that child back with their mom and dad. That's what our legislation seeks to do. Title VI puts visa overstay on par with illegal entry as a misdemeanor crime. It is currently just a civil immigration infraction. Title VII will help end the abuse of immigration parole. Since President Biden took office as part of a catch and release, he has paroled in around 1 million aliens who illegally cross the border. The parole statute is very clear. It is to be used on a case-by-case basis and only for significant public benefit or a humanitarian purpose. Administrations have been abusing parole authority for many years despite Congress' attempts to rein it in. Most recently, the Biden administration has created categorical parole programs for nationals of several countries to make the chaos at the border less noticeable. Title VII brings the use of immigration parole back to its intended purpose to allow a foreign national to enter the U.S. for an emergency purpose for a short period of time. And finally, Title VIII helps end the jobs magnet for illegal migration. It phases in the required use of E-Verify to check the employment eligibility of new hires over a period of 3 years, starting with the largest employers and ending with agricultural employers. We have worked closely with many of our folks from the big ag districts on that language. E-Verify is a quick and efficient way to electronically do what current law requires of employers to check the employment eligibility of their new hires. The current system is subjective, and illegal aliens routinely fake identity and employment eligibility documents to get jobs in the United States. Title VIII also repeals 2 Biden administration regulations that make the H-2A agricultural guest worker program burdensome for employees to use. H.R. 2 will put an end to it, the open borders policy of Joe Biden. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you very much.